can get to that place of leaning into others and reaching out, right? Because
Oh,
you have the story
wow.
of when you came, you showed up, even though you said, I'm here, but I'm not here, I'm not in alignment. But how you were able to come out of it because you had that connection to other.
Well,
So
you're
it's
right.
like connection to source and ourselves and our love, but also connection to others. And oftentimes, some of the craziness we see in the world, right? It's because people don't have the capacity, the skills, the tools to connect back to self, or they're not reaching out to others, or others aren't reaching out to them, and that connection gets lost. Right?
I had to ask somebody this question one time. Go ahead, Luz.
I just have a question because I'm just loving where this train of thought is going. So, say we see someone out of alignment, right? That can be a little bit intimidating. So, what would you suggest, or, do you have any insights on, do we hug them? Do we just give them a smile? Do we just send them Reiki? Do we send them positive energy, say a prayer for them? Like what?
I guess it depends on who the person is, right? Like
I've had a literal experience.
That and you have that kind of relationship with, then I definitely think that hug or that, hey, I'm noticing that you don't seem well. Just know I'm here. I'm someone to talk to, or that, right? Strangers. It's amazing sometimes when you see people in pain, right? Like you can see it in their eyes, and sometimes just a smile, sending a blessing, right? How that can shift it.
I like that.
So yeah, it depends on the person, the situation, right? But
I like that.
But I would say, whatever feels, safe for you, and whatever feels like in alignment to do.
I got a literal story that literally encompasses what y'all are talking about.
Do it.
Tell us.
So I was driving Uber, which is a great way to get to talk to people when you don't want to have conversation with them. So I was, there was a kid, I'm going to go pick him up from his place and everything. And I see it's like a long ride from over at NC State. He needs to go to Duke Hospital. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And I didn't realize it was so much. It was like during heavy rush hour traffic. And so I hear him on the phone, panicked and everything like that. I tried, I called him up already. I need my medicine, this and this and this. And I remember just thinking, Jesus Christ, this is a real emergency. I don't want to be a part of this. I've already said yes, and he's already looking at me. So I can't just drive off now. And I hear him talking about I need it, my body is hurting in this. And I was just my first thought was, please don't die in my car. I just want to go home. And it was just a lot. And so when he got off the phone, it was a great awkward silence. And I just thought, I don't know what came over me. I'm normally not this person to have this conversation, but there was just something in me that felt like a deep breath. And I just said, because I didn't say, how you doing, man? You ain't doing good at all.
I overheard.
Yeah. I told him, I said, sounds like a rough day. And he was like, yeah, it's been a rough day. He said, really a rough week. Actually a rough month. Really a rough year. And I was like, well, damn. And so then he was just like, you ever heard of I forget what he said, but it's basically when your bones kind of burn. I forget what it's called, but it's this really rare thing. I forget. It's something that comes, I think, from alcoholics or different drug addicts, something like that. I forget what it's called, but he was having this. So I asked him, so he told me yeah, it kind of comes from alcoholism or something like that. And I was like, are you an alcoholic? He was like, no. I said, were you a drug addict? He was like, no. And I said, well, then what the hell, man? And so then he was like, yeah. And that's what's, getting to doctors and stuff. They don't understand. And I was just like, damn. So he said it's a very rare thing. He's one of very few that have this thing. So he told me he was feeling very hopeless because there's no cures out. He said there's no cures for this. He's and I'm just perpetually in pain and I don't have this medicine and all this different stuff. And I was like, damn, dude, that kind of, I'm sorry. And so then I was telling him, I was like, and I tried that. This is why I kind of found this whole toxic positivity thing. I just kind of like saw this a little bit because I wanted to say, well, if you believe in this and this and this, and he came up to me and he said, he was like, I don't like when folks say that because it makes it feel like it's my fault that I feel like this. And I was like, oof, yeah. And so I was like, damn, dude, you're right. And I told him, I'm only saying that because I've seen miracles. I was like, my brother died twice and he came back to life twice. And I was like, and my dad had a rare lung disease that doctors didn't know what was going on and he was able to beat it. And I was like, so I was only saying it because of that. And he was just like, I haven't seen anybody to beat this yet though. So I don't even know where to even look at for the miracle. And that's when I like looked at him and I've never felt it before in my life, but I just looked at him and I was like, and y'all probably know where I'm going with this. And I just said, well, maybe you're the miracle. And I was like, maybe you're the person that everyone looks to and goes, if he can do it, then I can do it. And I remember his face when he looked at me was just like, what the hell? Like, and as we kept talking and stuff like that on the way up there, like he was telling me about how his mom was telling him, like, because she had been going through a lot and everything with his dad and stuff like that, and was just like, because it was this chronic illness, she said his mom said, like, you should kill yourself, like, because he was telling me it's some like really, really crazy stuff. And I was like, and I got mad and I was like, nah, F that, dude. Like, and so I was like, you strong for even trying to get here right now, for even fighting to do this. And then like, as we got towards the end of the thing, when I was ready to drop him off, he was just like, he started feeling his strength again. And he was just like, I went to Italy one time, like by myself. And like, I learned the language within that month and I became very fluent at it. So I know that if I show up, I can do this. And I was like, well, damn. And so, and being in connection with people, I started crying when I left because I was like, what the hell just happened? And I remembered in that moment, I was talking to my dad about it. He was like, I don't know who you are. He's like, Ryan, you wouldn't have done that a year ago. And I was like, Dad, that felt like God was speaking through me. And it almost felt, and I was like, and the way he looked at me, it felt like God was speaking to him. And that's when I told my friend this one day. I was like, because she was like struggling and she wanted to like go in and like only like sit with God and herself and everything like that. And I remember asking her, I was like, based off of this story, I was like, do you think that God lives in other people, your higher power source, all that stuff? She was like, yes. And I said, do you think that it lives in me? She said, yes. I said, do you think it lives in you? Yes. And I said, so why would you not talk to other people if you believe that this lives in everybody? And she was like, damn.
Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. I like that.
So yeah, that's kind of like, you need people.
Yeah.
So
we need each other.